Bgmc. The biblical truth lives here.
We are living in a time like no other in history, but fortunately for us, God wrote it all down in His prophecies. Find out what prophecies happened this week ripped straight from the headlines. Stay tuned for the Prophecy Headlines news show on The Remnant's Call.
Now, let's get ready for the Remnant's Call End Time Prophecy News. Everybody. Again. And now for the news. From our first news story from the land of Israel.
Y la primera historia desde Israel.
Archaeologists discover evidence of battle for Jerusalem 2,000 years ago.
Y los arqueólogos han descubierto una evidencia de la batalla en Jerusalén hace 2000 años atrás.
They found some arrowheads.
Ellos estuvieron encontrando puntas de flecha.
And ballista balls, those balls that they used to.
Y esas bolas que suelen lanzar, las catapultas.
All by the walls of Jerusalem.
Todo cerca de las murallas de Jerusalén.
Where Yeshua would have walked, they found all this archaeological evidence.
Donde Yeshua caminó, han estado encontrando toda esta evidencia arqueológica.
It proves once again that the Jews have been there for more than 2,000 years.
Y ha probado nuevamente que los judíos estuvieron ahí y han estado hace más de 2000 años atrás.
Going to the next news story.
Próxima historia.
The indigenous people of Australia,
los nativos de Australia,
they're standing together with Israel.
Ellos están juntos con
Israel.
Amen. Amén.
The government is standing with the Palestinians.
El gobierno está a favor de los palestinos.
The Aborigines are standing with Israel.
Pero los aborígenes están a favor de Israel.
And they say the government is going down a very dangerous path.
Y ellos han dicho que el gobierno ha estado en un camino bien oscuro. Malo.
Going on to the next news story from Israel. This was a horrible story that happened yesterday.
Esto es una noticia horrenda que estuvo aconteciendo ayer.
Because the scummy people always do things when Israel is in their Shabbat.
Porque esas personas ridículas siempre están haciendo cosas en contra de
scummy
Israel
Muslims
el Shabbat.
Ruled that Hebron, where the patriarchs are buried,
estos musulmanes dijeron que Hebrón, donde los patriarcas están sepultados,
is not Israel's territory.
Ellos han dicho que eso no es parte de Israel.
Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov are buried there.
Isaac, Abraham, Isaac y Jacob están
Sarah, Rebecca, and Leah are buried there.
Sarah, Rebecca y Leah están sepultados ahí.
But that's not Israel's territory.
Pero ellos no consideran eso
You guys
parte
are
de Israel.
morons.
Ustedes son unos idiotas.
And you should all be hung up from a tree, and we should all laugh at you as you die.
Debieran todos estar colgados en árboles y nosotros riéndonos de
I
ustedes.
mean, how much more proof do you need?
¿Cuántas pruebas necesitas?
Why do you want to listen to Muslims?
¿Por qué quieren escuchar los musulmanes?
And they always do this on Friday
Ellos siempre hacen esto en el viernes.
because they know the Jews are not going to be there.
Porque ellos saben que los judíos no van a estar ahí.
Going on to the next news story.
Próxima historia.
Now here in Latin America, do we have any Latin Americans here?
Tenemos latinoamericanos aquí.
Okay. In Latin America,
En Latinoamérica,
65% of the Jews there fear terrorist attacks against them.
un 65% de los líderes judíos temen a ataques terroristas.
That's why we do the Joseph Project, everybody.
Por eso es que hacemos el proyecto Joseph.
So if you have a Facebook account, Benjamin Project, sorry, I'm thinking of another one. Benjamin Project,
También el proyecto Benjamín.
the Benjamin Project
El proyecto Benjamín
does the news in only Spanish.
hace las noticias en solamente español.
And Benjamin makes a video.
Benjamín hace los videos.
Okay, so if you have a Facebook account or email,
Así que si tienes Facebook y correo electrónico,
let me know.
déjame saber.
Because we can make an announcement in Spanish
Porque podemos hacer los anuncios en español
that you can send out
eso que puedes enviar.
So we get this information to the Latin community, okay?
Así podemos distribuir esta información en la comunidad latina.
Going on to the next news story about Jews in Israel.
Esta otra noticia sobre judíos en Israel.
There you see the largest aircraft carrier in the world.
Ahí puedes ver el portaaviones mayor del mundo.
That is the George W. Bush.
Ese es el George W. Bush.
Okay, it docked in Israel this week.
Estuvo ahí varado en Israel en esta semana.
It shows that America is very close together militarily with Israel.
Mostrando que Estados Unidos está alianzado militarmente con Israel.
That ship is it's huge.
Ese portaaviones es
Bigger
huge.
than any other aircraft carrier in the entire world.
Es el mayor portaaviones del mundo.
Going on to the next slide, anti-Semitism stories.
Noticia de antisemitismo.
Our first anti-Semitism story
Y la primera historia
happened here in New Jersey this week,
ocurrió aquí en Nueva Jersey.
down in Lakewood, New Jersey.
En Lakewood, Nueva Jersey.
Last Shabbat,
El Shabbat pasado, el sábado pasado,
neo-Nazis did some very bad things down in Lakewood.
los neonazis estuvieron haciendo algo bien malo en Lakewood.
Now, why did that happen?
¿Por qué está aconteciendo esto en Lakewood?
Because one, there's a large Orthodox Jewish community
Una, porque es la comunidad mayor de ortodoxos
they were not acting very good.
y ellos no estuvieron actuando muy bien.
12 families have been indicted by the government for stealing millions of dollars.
12 familias estuvieron acusadas y
It's up to 23?
robando dinero del gobierno.
See, as followers of God, we're not to take money from the government.
Como familias y pueblo de Dios no deberíamos estar recibiendo dinero del gobierno.
We're supposed to work 6 days a week.
Deberíamos estar trabajando 6 días a la semana.
We don't want things from the government.
No queremos cosas del gobierno,
But there was a bunch of families stealing from the United States government.
pero habían muchas familias robando del gobierno de
So
Estados
God
Unidos.
said, okay, you want to steal? I'm going to take my hand of protection away from you.
Entonces el Señor diría, si tú no quieres seguirme, tú quieres robar, voy a quitar la protección de ti.
Because it happened right after they were indicted.
Porque eso ocurrió de inmediato cuando ellos fueron acusados.
Cause and effect.
Eso es causa y efecto.
Going on to the next news story. This is going to start happening around the globe, everybody.
Y esto va a estar ocurriendo alrededor del globo terráqueo.
In Belgium, they outlawed kosher slaughtering.
En Belgium prohibieron la ley kosher.
They say you have to electrocute the animal first.
Ellos han dicho que deben de electrocutar los animales.
We've only been slaughtering animals for 4,000 years.
Hemos estado desangrando los animales durante 4,000 años.
Everybody say hello to Yvonne.
Hola,
Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, Iván.
We were waiting for you.
Estuvimos esperando.
We heard you were stuck in traffic.
Estabas.
Okay. That's why you leave at 6 a.m. Okay. So here in Belgium, you can't get kosher meat anymore.
En Belgium no. Belgium es Bélgica. Okay. En Bélgica ya no tienes más alimentos kosher.
Why would they stop this?
¿Y por qué han detenido esto?
Okay. Going to start seeing a lot of this around the globe, everybody.
Vas a estar comenzando a ver esto en el resto del planeta.
Okay, let's go to the end time prophecy news. First news story
La primera historia
is about leadership.
es sobre el liderazgo.
There's something about our president that I'm really starting to like.
Hay algo en nuestro presidente que realmente me está comenzando a agradar.
Well, before I thought he was and a little bit of a potato head.
Al principio estaba mirándolo como pero también como una cabeza de papa.
But the more he is in office,
Pero más que está en el
the
gobierno,
more he is a proclaimer of God than George W. Bush was.
está aún más proclamando el Señor aún más que W. Bush.
So last Shabbat, he was at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C.
Y el Shabbat pasado estuvo en el centro de Kennedy con los
And here's what President Donald J. Trump said.
veteranos, y esto fue lo que hizo nuestro presidente.
I should probably have Tristan do this. He does Trump's voice really good. Tristan, come here.
Tristan, por favor.
Come here, Tristan. You do Trump's voice so well. Come on, quickly.
Y aquí está, señores y señoras, señoritos y todo el mundo, demos la bienvenida al señor presidente de los Estados Unidos. Donald Trump.
Oh, you got a mic?
Which part is it?
Okay. The underlying part.
We love our country. We love our families. We love our freedom. And we love our God. Okay? Let's make America great again and love our God. Thank you. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless the veterans. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, President Trump.
Gracias, señor presidente.
President Trump is now a Sabbath keeper.
El señor presidente está guardando el Shabbat.
He said, freedom is only found in God.
Él ha dicho que la libertad solamente es encontrada en Dios.
W didn't even say that.
Ni siquiera W. Bush dijo eso.
We haven't heard this type of talk since the really great President Ronald Reagan.
Solamente escuchamos eso desde Reagan.
We certainly didn't hear it out of Jimmy Peanut Farmer Carter, who's an idiot.
Nunca escuchamos nada ni siquiera acerca de Carter.
But leadership, when we have a good leader,
Pero cuando tenemos un buen líder,
the people will prosper.
las personas prosperarán.
When we have a bad leader like Obama,
Cuando tuvimos
hey, where was Obama for the 4th of July?
¿Dónde estaba Obama en el 4 de julio?
In the Muslim country of Indonesia,
En un país musulmán de Indonesia,
speaking to his Indonesian cousins.
hablando con sus primos indoneses.
Next news story, marriage.
Matrimonio.
It says in Proverbs 18 verse 22,
Dice en Proverbios 18:22.
he who finds a wife finds a great good, and he has won the favor of Jehovah.
Si has encontrado esposa, has encontrado buena cosa.
Okay? Now
has
marriage
recibido
is
el favor de Adonai.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't. Okay? Here's a good and positive story.
Aquí hay una buena y una mala noticia.
This couple that has been married for 80 years,
Esas personas estuvieron casados 80 años.
they asked the couple what the secret of their marriage was.
Y ellos encontraron el secreto de su
The man said you got to put God first.
El hombre dijo que deberían de poner
Amén.
a Dios primero. Amén.
And he said, try to do what is right in God's eyes.
Y él dijo, traten de hacer todo lo correcto delante de los ojos de Dios.
Going on to the next slide, the next news story. This is a scary one.
Esta noticia es asustante.
This is about thinks he is a God.
Esto es sobre pensando que Él es Dios.
In Matthew 24 verse 5,
En Mateo 24:5,
people will say that they are Messiah.
las personas van a decir, venir diciendo que ellos son Mesías.
The French president, the new French president,
El nuevo presidente de Francia,
Emmanuel Macron,
Macron,
he is going to rule like Jupiter.
él va a gobernar como Júpiter.
He's going to rule his government as if he were the god Jupiter.
Él dice que va a gobernar el país como si fuera el dios Júpiter.
This is what he said in a speech.
Eso fue lo que él dijo en su discurso.
He's going to make reforms that are like the god Jupiter.
Él va a hacer reformas como si fuera el dios Júpiter.
He summoned their 900 politicians of both houses. That's a lot of people.
Y todos estos 900 políticos son muchas personas.
At the Congress at the palace of Louis the 14th.
Y en el palacio de Luis el 14,
Okay, the Sun King.
el rey del sol.
And he says, I'm going to rule like Jupiter.
Y él ha dicho que va a gobernar como Júpiter.
We're heading for something real big, people.
Estamos enfrentándonos a algo bien grande.
We can't talk about God, but this guy's proclaiming he's Jupiter.
No podemos nosotros hablar, proclamar a Dios, pero él se declara Júpiter.
Going on to the next news story.
La próxima historia.
Give your land to another. Deuteronomy 28, verse 43.
Entregando tu tierra a otros. En Deuteronomio 28:43.
The Lord said, if you don't follow me,
El Señor ha dicho, si no me sigues,
I'm going to give your land to the foreigners.
yo voy a darle tu tierras a los extranjeros.
Okay? Foreigners own over 1 million acres of agricultural land in 9 states of America.
Extranjeros tienen 1 millón de acres de agricultura en 9 estados.
Liechtenstein
Liechtenstein
owns 6,398 acres alone.
solamente tiene unos 600,000 acres, ¿no? 6,398 acres.
The Germans own 250,000 acres.
Y los alemanes tienen unos, ¿cuánto? $250,000.
It is very interesting because we've been offered to buy a bunch of land in North Carolina.
Y es interesante porque en Carolina del Norte estuvieron ofreciendo muchos terrenos.
So if you have an interest in maybe working with me to buy a large parcel of land,
Así que
come talk with me.
si estás interesado en comprar una parcela, ven, habla conmigo.
Going on to the next news story.
La próxima
God
historia.
said, if you don't follow me,
Y el Señor dice, si no me sigues,
I'm going to make you homeless.
voy a hacerte indigente.
In Deuteronomy 28 verse 30, he says that another man is going to own your house.
En Deuteronomio 28:30, él dice, otra persona va a adueñarse tu casa.
In the state of Utah,
En el estado de Utah,
they have so many homeless people,
tienes tantos indigentes
they're going to be calling out the National Guard.
que van a llamar al ejército.
We're very blessed over here, people.
Estamos bien bendecidos aquí.
Understand that when you proclaim Yeshua and Torah, you get blessed.
Entienda de cuando proclamas al Señor y a Yeshua, eres bendecido.
Other places are not having as good a weather. It's a little warm today.
Otros lugares no tienen esa bendición en el asunto del tiempo y nosotros tenemos una buena
We
temporada.
are being very blessed.
Hemos sido muy bendecidos.
But they're having so many problems with the homeless with violence
Y han tenido ellos problemas con estos indigentes en asuntos violentos.
that they're going to call out the National Guard to take care of this.
Y ellos van a llamar al ejército para que se encargue de eso.
Next news story. Prophecy, you're going to be hated.
Esa profecía, vas a ser odiado.
Yeshua said in John 17 verse 14, you're going to be hated for following him.
Y Yeshua dijo en Juan 17:14, vas a ser odiado por seguirlo a él.
Okay. News story. University of Oklahoma, East Central University,
En la Universidad Central del Este de Oklahoma,
they took down the cross in their chapel.
ellos quitaron la cruz de su capilla.
And there was such an outcry from the people, they put it back up.
Y hubieron reclamos de que la colocaran de nuevo.
Somebody tries to take down a cross in our area, let's chop their hands off.
Y si alguien intenta de quitar la cruz de nuestra área, vamos a cortarle la mano.
Because we're proclaiming Yeshua as our king.
Porque proclamamos a Yeshua como nuestro rey.
You want to fight? Let's start a fight.
Si quieres pelear, vamos a comenzar la pelea.
The cross represents our king.
La cruz representa a nuestro
Because
rey.
he loved us this much.
Porque Él nos amó así de tanto.
Okay? And that represents our king.
Esa cruz representa a nuestro rey.
Going on to the next news story.
La próxima historia.
On the stupid scale of 1 to 10, this is an 11.
En una escala estúpida de 1 a 10, este es un 11.
Now, I know a lot of people don't like when I use the word stupid, but it's in the Bible.
A las personas no les gusta cuando yo uso la palabra estúpido, pero está ahí en la Biblia.
I had to tell you this stupid story.
Tengo que decirles esa historia estúpida.
In Sweden,
En Suecia,
they spent $12,000
ellos gastaron $12,000
for Gay Pride Month
por el orgullo gay,
changing the crossing signals to gay crossing signals.
para cambiar ¿qué? Para cambiar los semáforos a ponerlo así en
They put 2 women crossing in the sign, 2 men crossing in the sign.
ellos hicieron 2 mujeres cruzando en los semáforos y 2 hombres.
They spent $12,000.
Ellos gastaron unos $12,000 en eso.
Can't you find a better use of that money?
¿No encontraste algo mejor para invertir ese dinero?
That's on the stupid scale of 1 to 10, it's an 11.
Ese es en la escala del 1 al 10, en la estupidez es un 11.
Going on to the next news story, Ezekiel 38, these are the last 2 stories.
Y esas son las últimas 2 noticias, Ezequiel 38.
Please read that chapter.
Por favor, lee ese capítulo.
Read chapter 37 through 39.
Puedes leer desde el capítulo 37 hasta el 39.
This is playing out right now.
Eso está aconteciendo justo ahora mismo.
In the news story,
En esa historia,
Russia has taken the side of the North Koreans this week.
los rusos estuvieron tomando el lado de Corea del Norte.
The North Koreans have fired a new missile
Corea del Norte lanzó un nuevo misil
that can reach California.
que puede llegar hasta California.
Well, that's not really so bad,
Eso no es tan malo.
okay? But the Russians are standing with the North Koreans to say that they can do this.
Pero los rusos están a favor de Corea del Norte diciendo que pueden hacer eso.
The Russians blocked the UN resolution for sanctions.
Y Rusia bloqueó la sanción de Naciones Unidas.
Okay? What you're seeing, everybody,
Lo que puedes ver
is very important.
es muy importante.
The bear is raising up.
El oso se está levantando.
The bear is raising his saber, his sword.
El oso está levantando su espada.
Okay, we're heading for war, everybody.
Estamos en camino a
We are
guerra.
definitely heading for war.
Definitivamente estamos en camino a la
So
guerra.
choose this day whom you're going to serve.
Así que elige hoy día quién vas a servir.
And in chapter 38, we had Gog and Magog.
Y en el capítulo 38 tenemos a Gog y Magog.
Magog is China.
Magog es China.
China made an island in the South China Sea.
Y China hizo una isla en el sur del mar del sur de China.
And America sent a warship near it.
Y Estados Unidos mandó un portaaviones cerca.
So China sent their warships next to ours.
Y China mandó sus
I told
buques
you.
cerca del nuestro.
Okay? We're heading for war.
Estamos en camino a guerra.
This is only a few of the new war stories that I'm going to bring forth this week.
Y estos son solamente algunas noticias que estoy trayendo.
Prepare yourselves.
Prepárense.
Okay? Have some extra rice, some extra food in your house.
Tenga comida extra en su casa.
Because this could happen overnight.
Porque esto puede acontecer de un día para otro.
And America is not ready for war.
Y Estados Unidos no está preparado para guerra.
Especially spiritually, we are not ready for war.
Especialmente espiritualmente no estamos listos para
It
guerra.
is good that we have a president that is starting to fear God.
Es bueno que tenemos un presidente que está comenzando a temerle a Dios.
It is good that we have a president that loves Israel,
Es bueno que tenemos un presidente que ama a Israel,
that has Jewish grandchildren
que tiene nietos judíos
and a Jewish daughter.
y tiene una hija judía.
But that doesn't mean war's not going to happen, everybody.
Pero no quiere decir que la guerra no va a acontecer.
So in Ezekiel 38, it tells you what's about to happen.
Y en Ezequiel 38 te va a decir que está a punto de acontecer.
And in Matthew 24, it tells you the stages of how this happens.
Y en Mateo 24 te dice los pasos de todo lo que va a acontecer.
So be prepared.
Así que prepárese.
That's it for the news this week.
Eso es todo por esta semana.
Hey, 875 of you out there.
Hey, 878 de ustedes.
Be so kind if you're being blessed by this ministry.
Si han sido bendecidos por este ministerio, sea bondadoso.
Hey, if each of you sent $5, we make budget.
Si 5
Shalom, this is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman. I would personally like to thank you for tuning in to the Remnant's Call each and every week. You can listen to the full message on our website, bethgoyim.org. If you have drawn closer to the King of Kings, learned more about Him today, we are blessed. If you are blessed by these messages, please consider a donation to our ministry. You can go to our website, bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. And click on the donate button. You do not have to have a PayPal account to donate. All you need is a debit card. Once again, thank you very much for listening to The Remnant's Call.